Hi there, welcome back to American Lingo Academy. I'm Fiona, and today we're going to learn another 10 super useful phrasal verbs that native English speakers use all the time in everyday conversation. These are words you'll hear at work, at home, with friends, and pretty much everywhere. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. Number 1, figure out. This phrasal verb means to understand something or to find the answer to a problem. When you figure something out, you solve it or you finally understand how it works. We use this all the time when we're confused about something and then we finally get it. It's like when you're looking at a math problem and suddenly you know the answer, or when you're trying to use a new phone and you finally understand how to turn it on. That's figuring it out. For example, imagine you just bought a new coffee maker and it has lots of buttons. You don't know which button to press first. You look at the instructions, you try a few things, and after a few minutes, you understand how to make coffee. You can say, I finally figured out how to use this coffee maker. It took me 10 minutes, but now I know which buttons to press. This means you solved the problem and now you understand it. Here's another one. Let's say your friend is acting really quiet and sad. You're not sure why. You ask her some questions, you think about what happened yesterday, and then you realize she's upset because she had a fight with her sister. You can say, I figured out why Sarah is so quiet today. She had an argument with her sister yesterday, and she's still upset about it. So you understood the reason, you solved the mystery of why she was acting that way. Number 2, figure on. This one means to expect something or to plan for something to happen. When you figure on something, you're counting on it or you think it will probably happen. It's similar to saying you assume something will be a certain way. Native speakers use this when they're making plans and they have certain expectations about how things will go. For example, imagine you're planning a birthday party for your daughter. You're thinking about how much food to buy. You know you invited 20 people, so you're expecting that most of them will come. You can say, I figured on about 15 people coming to the party, so I bought enough food for that many. This means you planned for 15 people because that's what you expected. Here's another one, let's say. You're saving money to buy a new laptop. You checked the prices online and you saw that most good laptops cost around $800. So when you go to the store, you bring that much money. You can say, I figured on spending about $800 for a decent laptop, so that's how much I brought with me. You expected it to cost around that amount, so you prepared for it. Number 3, file away. This phrasal verb means to put something in its proper place for storage, usually papers or documents, or to store information in your memory for later use. When you file something away, you're organizing it so you can find it when you need it in the future. It's what you do with important papers, or even with information you want to remember. For example, imagine you just finished doing your taxes and you have all these important documents. You don't want to lose them because you might need them next year. So you put them in a folder and put the folder in a drawer where you keep important papers. You can say, I filed away all my tax documents in the bottom drawer of my desk. Now I know exactly where they are if I need them later. You organize them and put them in a safe place. Here's another one. Let's say you're at a work meeting and your boss tells you something really important. She says the company will give everyone a bonus in December if sales are good. You want to remember this, so you make a mental note. You can say, I filed that information away in my mind. I'll definitely remember to ask about it in December. This means you stored that information in your memory so you won't forget it. Number 4, file for. This means to officially apply for something, usually by submitting documents to a government office or court. When you file for something, you're making a formal request. The most common things people file for are bankruptcy, which means you legally say you can't pay your debts, or divorce, which is the legal end of a marriage. You can also file for unemployment benefits or file for a permit. For example, imagine a couple has been married for 10 years, but they're not happy together anymore. They tried to make it work, but they decided it's better to end the marriage. So they go to a lawyer and start the legal process. You can say, Tom and Lisa filed for divorce last month. They've been having problems for years, and they finally decided to separate. This means they officially started the legal process to end their marriage. Here's another one. Let's say your friend owns a small business, but the business isn't making any money. In fact, he owes a lot of money to other people and he can't pay them back. So he goes to court and officially declares that he cannot pay his debts. You can say, unfortunately, Mike had to file for bankruptcy because his business failed and he couldn't pay his bills anymore. This means he officially asked the court to help him deal with his debts because he couldn't pay them. Number 5, fill in. This phrasal verb has a few meanings, but the most common one is to write information in blank spaces on a form or document. When you fill in a form, you write your name, address, phone number, and other information in the empty spaces. Another meaning is to give someone information they're missing, to update them on what happened. For example, imagine you go to a new doctor for the first time. The receptionist gives you a piece of paper with lots of questions. There are blank lines where you need to write your name, your birthday, your address, your phone number, and information about your health. You can say, I had to fill in a long form with all my personal information before I could see the doctor. It took me 15 minutes to complete. This means you wrote all the information in the blank spaces on the form. Here's another one. Let's say you were sick yesterday and you missed an important meeting at work. Today you come back and your coworker tells you everything that happened in the meeting. She explains all the decisions that were made and what everyone talked about. You can say, thanks for filling me in on what happened at yesterday's meeting. I really appreciate it because I was worried I missed something important. This means she gave you the information you missed. She updated you on what happened. Number 6, fill in for. This means to do someone else's job temporarily because they're not available. When you fill in for someone, you take their place for a short time. Maybe they're sick, maybe they're on vacation, or maybe they have an emergency. So you do their work until they come back. It's a really useful phrase for work situations. For example, imagine you work at a coffee shop and your coworker Jessica usually works on Mondays. But this Monday, Jessica is sick with the flu and she can't come to work. Your boss asks you to work on Monday instead, even though it's usually your day off. You can say, I'm filling in for Jessica on Monday because she's sick. I'll work her shift and she'll be back on Tuesday. This means you're temporarily doing her job because she can't be there. Here's another one. Let's say you're a teacher and you need to go to a wedding next Friday. You can't teach your class that day. So you ask another teacher, Mr. Johnson, if he can teach your class for that one day. He agrees to do it. You can say, Mr. Johnson is going to fill in for me next Friday while I'm at my brother's wedding. He'll teach my students and give them the homework assignment I prepared. So he's taking your place temporarily, he's doing your job for one day. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this lesson and learning these useful phrasal verbs, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We upload new videos every single day to help you improve your English, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson. Your support really helps us create more content for you. Okay, let's keep going. Number 7, fill in on. This phrasal verb means to give someone detailed information or updates about a situation. When you fill someone in on something, you explain what's happening or what happened. You give them all the important details they need to know. It's similar to fill in, but we use fill in on when we want to emphasize what topic we're explaining. For example, imagine your sister just came back from a long trip to Europe. She was gone for 3 weeks and a lot happened while she was away. Your parents moved to a new house, your brother got engaged, and you started a new job. So you sit down with your sister and tell her everything. You can say, let me fill you in on everything that happened while you were traveling. Mom and Dad moved, Jason got engaged, and I started working at a new company. So you're giving her all the important information she missed. You're updating her on everything. Here's another one. Let's say you work on a team and you're working on a big project. One of your teammates, David, was on vacation for a week. Now he's back at work, but he doesn't know what progress the team made on the project. So you have a meeting and explain everything to him. You can say, "We need to fill David in on what we accomplished last week so he knows where we are with the project." This means you need to give him all the details and updates about the work that happened while he was gone. Number 8, fill out. This means to complete a form by writing information in all the necessary spaces. It's very similar to fill in, and many native speakers use these two phrases interchangeably. When you fill out a form, you write all the required information. The difference is that fill out usually means completing the entire form, while fill in can mean just writing in specific blanks. But honestly, most people use them the same way. For example, imagine you want to apply for a new credit card. You go online to the bank's website and there's an application. You need to type in your full name, your social security number, your income, your address, and lots of other information. After you type everything, you click Submit. You can say, "I filled out an application for a credit card online yesterday. It took about 20 minutes because there were so many questions." This means you completed the entire form with all your information. Here's another one. Let's say your child is starting at a new school in September. The school sends you papers that ask for your child's name, birthday, medical information, emergency contacts, and many other details. You sit down with a pen and write all this information on the papers. You can say, "I spent an hour filling out all the forms for my son's new school. There was so much paperwork." This means you completed all the forms by writing in all the required information. Number 9, fill up. This phrasal verb means to make something completely full. When you fill something up, you add liquid or other material until there's no more room. The most common use is with gas stations when you fill up your car with gas. But you can also fill up a glass with water, fill up a swimming pool, or even say your stomach is filled up after a big meal. For example, imagine you're driving your car and you notice the gas tank is almost empty. There's a warning light on your dashboard. You don't want to run out of gas, so you stop at a gas station. You pump gas into your tank until it's completely full. You can say, "I need to fill up my car with gas before we drive to the beach." The tank is almost empty, and we have a long drive ahead of us. This means you need to put gas in your car until the tank is full. Here's another one. Let's say you just finished mowing your lawn on a hot summer day. You're really thirsty. You go inside your house, take a tall glass from the cabinet, and pour cold water from the refrigerator until the glass is completely full. Then you drink it all. You can say, "I was so thirsty after working outside that I filled up a big glass of water and drank it in 1 minute." This means you poured water into the glass until it was full. Number 10, filter in. This means to enter or arrive gradually, a few at a time, not all at once. When people or things filter in, they come slowly over a period of time. It's like when students arrive at a classroom, they don't all walk in at exactly the same time. Instead, they arrive one by one or in small groups over several minutes. That's filtering in. For example, imagine you're organizing a community meeting that starts at 7 o'clock in the evening. At 6:50, only 2 or 3 people are there. Then at 6:55, a few more people arrive. At 7 o'clock, more people come in. And even at 7:10, people are still arriving. They're not all arriving at the same time, they're coming in slowly. You can say, "People started filtering in around 6:50, and by 7:15 we had about 30 people in the room." This means people arrived gradually over that time period, not all together. Here's another one. Let's say there's a big concert in a stadium. The doors open at 6, but the concert doesn't start until 8. Some excited fans arrive right when the doors open at 6. Other people arrive at 6:30, some at 7, some at 7:30. All evening, more and more people keep arriving. You can say fans filtered in throughout the evening, and by the time the concert started at 8, the stadium was packed. This means people arrived slowly and gradually over those 2 hours. All right, that's it for today's lesson. We covered 10 really useful phrasal verbs that you'll hear all the time in everyday English. Let's do a quick review. We learned figure out, which means to understand or solve something. Figure on, which means to expect or plan for something. File away, which means to store something in a safe place. File for, which means to officially apply for something. Fill in, which means to write information in blank spaces or to update someone. Fill in for, which means to temporarily do someone else's job. Fill in on, which means to give someone detailed information about something. Fill out, which means to complete a form. Fill up, which means to make something completely full. And filter in, which means to arrive gradually over time. I really hope this lesson was helpful for you. Try to use these phrasal verbs in your own conversations and writing. The more you practice, the more natural they'll feel. Remember, we upload new videos every single day, so make sure you're subscribed to American Lingo Academy so you don't miss any lessons. If you have any questions, or if there are specific phrasal verbs you'd like me to teach in future videos, leave a comment down below. I read all your comments and I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, you're doing an amazing job. Bye for now.